So today's video will cover how to edit with Avada Live. So first off, we will go ahead and start with a new page from the back end. I will just name it tutorial for now, and you will click Avada Live. This will take you to the live editor, and this is really how you want to make those edits because that's the easiest way. And the building process basically starts with a container and then a column and then an element. But just because starting off with a blank page can be intimidating, we'll go ahead and show you how you can import a pre-made page that Avada has to offer. So with that, you click on the library, and then from there, you can see all the templates that they have to offer. So just for the sake of what we already this is the theme that we already have, the charity theme. If it wants to search, if not, we can just go ahead with their theme. You can preview the page beforehand, and this is what it would look like. When you import a page by itself, it should keep all the global layouts and it won't override anything that you already have. So you can go ahead and click import, and then it should load and bring in the content from there. See, as you can see, it kept our main general layout of the theme, with the header still being there and our color scheme, it didn't override anything. And our footer is still the same. So these are the page options. Personally, how I like to edit is I like to go through the navigator so that you can see where each column is. This is the containers. When you click on it, it should direct you to where it's supposed to be. And so from there, you create a column, and you want your columns to always add up to 1. If you don't have it add up to 1, then it'll insert it into it'll create 2 different rows. You can create elements and then the containers. When you have the containers like this, it'll size everything automatically to the size of the column. And personally, what I like to do, if you have an element that you like that's on a different page, you can always go in and copy an element, and then you can paste it back again. So then it'll automatically create it for you so that you don't have to go through the process of creating it all over again. And one of the items that we had a lot of struggle with the margins of the page, when you go into the page, you can set the you can set the template to be 100% width, and that should allow the items to go from bar to bar, from margin to margin. So first, when you're making the editing, starting the editing process, you can add a container, and from here you can already choose the column sizes that you want. As you can see, they all add up to 1, so that would be 1 row. Just for the tutorial, I will start off with 1 column. And this is the container right here. And after the column, you can add an element. So I will start off with the text block, tutorial test. And from here, you can also insert links like this. like that, or you can also insert links through this way as well with the extended options right here, and change the size like this, and you can see the changes happening in real time. Obviously that does not look good, so I will undo it, which you can always undo with Control Z. And here you can set the margins and design of the text block that we have, just so that you can see the visible difference with margins. Oh, you can't really see that because that's the right side. You can always change the font color. We have the hex codes for the font colors for Volunteer Houston already loaded in, so you can choose from here by clicking on the global icon. And then these are different animation types that you can also put onto your words. And here you can also see them in live time as well. Here I will add a picture element or an image. There you go. And you can look through the media library. You can see here when you imported the page in, you can import, it'll automatically import the images that were already on that page. So it'll be added into your media library. You can go ahead and insert an image. We don't normally mess with these settings. So I can show you how to put the images for the column size. If you want the image to have an overlay effect on it, we'll first change this column size so that we can put another column in. And since that one was 1/5, we will put in a 4/5 column in. And here, this is where you can put an image into the background of the column. You can also do this for containers as well. And go ahead with this one. You can change the sizes like this so that you can see this is changing the margins and padding of the items. And this is the background blend mode. This is what we'll be putting the overlay. So first you'd put the background color. I personally, to keep with the Volunteer Houston theme, I'd go with that. And since normally you would like to, you could put text over it when you put an overlay, or if you just want the color itself, then this should be fine. But normally I like to make it darker, just so you can really have the font pop out. And then you lower the transparency. Then once you go to the image, you can change the blend mode to overlay. And that should give you your overlay effect. And so the point of putting the image into the background of the column is so that you can put elements on top of it. So this is where you'd be able to put your text block and other words that would go here. And just to show you from the actual website that we currently have, you can always center your text boxes by creating these columns. So these columns will help you if you want something in the middle. You can see here that I have a 1/5, a 3/5, and then another 1/5. And then you can center the text in the middle like this. And then this column is all the way so that the text will span from for the entire section. And as you can see here, this is a container. And since I wanted the image here and then the text here, those are two separate columns, 1/2 and 1/2, so that they all fit into the same row, into the same column. I mean, into the same container. And here, these are nested columns. This will help you center the buttons because normally when you put in the buttons, it'll be like this, and it's really hard to get them centered properly. So nested columns help you get the positioning that you want. Let me just delete this element. And as always, if you have a nested column that you like, you can always copy from a page and paste it on over so that it'll also pop up. It doesn't have to be items from the same page. You can always copy and paste from a different page. And here's the elements that I use are the titles, and then you have the separator, and then the text block, and then I have another separator just so that I can get the proper spacing that I want between the items. And so another page that we have, another element that we found extremely useful was the menu anchor. Actually, I will show it on the video tutorials page just because it's more clear. Here you can see the menu anchors, and in order to do that, this is the URL that you want to put. You're going to want to put the hashtag for volunteers, and this is just the normal button text for the element. And you'll want to add in the element menu anchors, which is what we already have. And so when you name it, you'll name it with for volunteers without the hashtag. So then this will create the hyper scroll, super scroll effect, where when you click this button, it'll scroll down to that section. Yeah, other than that, we really suggest starting using the templates that is already given, so you don't have to start from an empty page when you're starting work on a new page. If you have an element or layout page that you really like and you want to reuse, you can always go ahead and just duplicate the page and then rename it so that you don't have to start from scratch.